Have you ever wondered about your past life? Today we're going to kind of go back in time a little bit and we're going to figure some things out. So I'm going to pull some cards for you, some cards for your person, and you're probably going to realize that a little bit of what was in your past life has carried forward into this life. And for some of you, you might have had 2 or 3 past lives. And if you've never done a deep dive into your past life, you really should. It's absolutely interesting. All right. I've manifested that this reading finds those that needs to hear it. So you might hear some things that resonate. And if you don't like it, keep scrolling. Male, female. This card signifies that some of you have lived many past lives as men and many past lives as women. So right now, for a lot of you, you might be a female, but you have a lot of masculine traits. Like you're very assertive, you're very dominant, you're not very soft-spoken. And it's literally just saying that's because you've spent multiple past lives. You might have been a female in one, you might have been a male in one. I mean, in all honesty, you could have been a female cat in one life. But you've spent multiple lives flip-flopping between genders. So sometimes you might find that you come across a little bit dominant. And especially if you're a male. You are probably very dominant, very masculine. And those traits pop through. The arts. You spent a fair amount of time dealing with the arts in your past life. You may have played an instrument. You may have been involved in music, opera. You may have been involved in theater. Maybe you wrote. So for some of you, that trait is going to pop through. They gave us 2. Oh. Egypt. Some of you are probably pretty interested in Egypt. And that's because you lived your life, at least 1 or 2 of them, I'm hearing 1 or 2, in Egypt. And you had something to do with the building of the pyramids. And you also had something to do with building the railroad. Whichever country you were in, you have deep knowledge of the railroads. Pretty impressive. One more card, and then we're going to get into the other person. So if you're in a relationship, you're probably going to find this really interesting. Oh, orphan. Oh my goodness. Whew. Many of you probably spent a few lives as orphans. And so that's where this trait, where you might have the more assertive, dominant traits, even though you spent many lives being male and female, 1 life male, 1 life female, you probably spent 1 or 2 as a male. Those traits have carried forward, combined with your orphan, because you were an orphan, you're used to providing for yourself. I know this is going to resonate with a few of you, where you feel like you can't ask anyone for help. You feel like you're the only one that can handle it. And you're used to just doing things on your own. because you were on your own as a child. You spent at least 2 lives being an orphan and not having anyone care or provide for you. And you got used to running the streets, stealing the bread, shining the shoes. You spent multiple lives just trying to survive. And right now, your whole system is stuck in survival mode. And that's why you come across as so dominant. Okay, we're going into the other person because that's some pretty heavy stuff there. What is our other person's past life? How do they tie into us? Come on, give me a card or I'm just going to pick one. There we go. Whew. Somebody goes back to biblical times. Somebody, but again, I'm going to say, I'm throwing this out there. This is my intuition, my feeling for this reading. Because we have the Egypt card, and I felt like you had something to do with building the pyramids. Your person goes back to biblical times. I'm going to say the two of you have multiple past lives going back pretty much to the start. Like we're talking BC, like biblical times. There's no way that the two of you have not lived multiple lives together, and you just keep finding each other over and over and over again. And so if you were to sit down and do a past life reading, they might have something a little bit different than you, but they may have lived one life without you. Oh my goodness, this one's heavy. Imprisonment or slavery, which ties in with Egypt in biblical times. Your person went through a period of imprisonment and slavery, and they still carry that wound forward. It's a really hard wound for them to get past. They had something to do with a farm and livestock. They were very involved in it. They may have lived as a slave on a farm. But I don't think they owned it. I'm not feeling that. They had a very rough life, and they've carried those wounds forward, and that comes through in your relationship. Very much so. Oh, forgiveness. They feel like there's something that needs to be forgiven. They've always felt like they need to have someone's forgiveness, but they don't. But you need to tell them. Just tell them, like if they get upset with you, just be like, look, you're forgiven. Because they always felt like everything they did was so horrible, and that's why they were always punished for it. And it wasn't horrible. It's just they had a really bad life. It's their mother. Something to do with their mother. And it probably has something to do with their mother may have abandoned them in a past life. Maybe she was sick and passed away, or she just didn't have enough time to pay attention to them, but they need to forgive that. But they see that quality in you, like they love you so much, like they would have loved her. They just need to know that you're going to be there for them. One last card. This is unrequited love. One of you loves the other one just a little bit more. We're running out of time. Take care.